that's a good thing. Because once we've got these hits, we can filter. We can start to filter the hits based on date, on location, on all kinds of other criteria. So dealing with media, it doesn't work the way they think it works. We used to, when I gave you the example of 2010, Indianapolis 500, Black 50, Kyle Busch, blah, 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 that was an incredibly specific query. But typically we don't work that way. What we're happiest with is we get a lot of hits back. We get too many. But then if we can filter by predefined criteria, we narrow our search. Does that make sense? Now, we're not typing anything more in. We're getting a basket of goods. We know it's in here. And our mission is then to narrow down the search. And that's the way I've built my new systems to work. Because we're getting metadata as we move through it. We present the metadata. And now I've got the cloud. I'll be able to show you this a little bit later. Because I think the best job a database does is hiding information. Now, in an academic forum, they don't really like me saying this, because they say all the information's in the database. Right? We know it's all there, we've spent a lot of money, it's all inside the database. It's just you're a stupid user, you can't find it. It's in there. Now, I've encountered that a lot, and we normally countered it by saying, this is training. We need to train all the users to do it. And so we used to train people. But if they would give you maybe half an hour, maybe they give you an hour, maybe they give you a morning, but it didn't matter. You train them. 2 weeks later, you go back, they've forgotten everything, and they were trying to make it work like Google. And they were typing in anything into the database. And this is the worst possible way of treating a database, because it's a brute force search. And if you have 100 users on a system all doing brute force searches, the system collapses on you just like that. So really what you want to do in the parlance is an index search. So find me everything and then filter each. So my analogy for this, the only one I found that's worked really well, if your database is a hotel, imagine the hotel has 100 floors. On each floor we have 100 rooms. Okay. So what they were doing, and we have maybe 1,000 users on the system, or maybe more, they were basically going into the top, in a lift to the top of the hotel, and knocking on every door, on every room, and saying, are you in there? Looking for me. Are you in there? When I didn't answer, they would knock on the next door. Now maybe they find you on floor 49 in room 23. They still keep looking. They keep knocking on doors because they don't know if there's more answers to come from the database. Now this is the stupidest search, but that's how the users want to search. Now an index search is I give you information. I say I'm on floor 49, room 43. So you go on the lift, you go in and say, Kevin, are you there? Of course I'm there. I'm not knocking on all the other doors. So if you're looking for information, try and index it. Try and make it relevant to the structure. Now, you can't, it's more of an art this than it is actually a science. Now you could, maybe if you're really clever, analyze the traffic and see what are they searching for and sort of try and build pathways so that they go to the relevant stuff. But it won't always be relevant. It's back to Google again, it's relevance rather than a specific search. So we're trying to figure out ways of making search better. Because if we're in this cloud thing, we've got millions of files, billions of files. Search becomes absolutely fundamental. So I go back to users and how they want to look for stuff. So they like email because you can type in the name and we find stuff. Then I filter. So what we're really doing is building these index stuff. So these file names really tell us nothing, but this is what we have. So let's look. Okay, lots of tech, lots of old tech. Lots more file, and we have lists. Do you notice the number of lists we have there? Computers are great at giving you lists. And the only thing you can do with a list really is typically have the newest stuff first and all the oldest first. That's what people do when the lists are really long. you know, or we have another little search window at the top. You're familiar with this because this is what we're dealing with at the moment. I think as we look forward, we're going to have to figure out better ways of flagging stuff because we've got too much stuff. And if it's constantly a case of when you're collaborating, the right hand doesn't know what the left hand does, right? So as you bring things into a system, it must be massaged so it's consistent. Bringing stuff in must be consistent, otherwise we can't do these filtering mechanisms. So if you do something differently from this young lady over there, we don't find the two things don't marry up, even though they may be on the same job. So lists are always problematic. This is archive. Okay, so this is a spectrologic robot. I used to like this one. This is a robotic LTO. Now, I figured out ways of driving it, and what we did was we made an association with the media that was written to the tape and the tape label, the tape number. So I could type in the tape number and it would show you all the clips that were on that tape. Okay, it would show you the file names. But of course, that's not enough. You need to know what race is it from, what date is it. You know, these tapes have raw data. So I also wrote XML metadata from our system onto the tapes as well. You had to look forward to the moment that when they moved the tapes, that the database broke, but we still have metadata on the tape that describes the contents of that tape. It's redundancy. Another of the big trends we're seeing at the moment is people want redundancy in their data. They want it in multiple places. It's not good enough anymore to have one copy. In IT terms, that's ludicrous. I think in IT terms, they think it's only back then when you have 3 copies in 3 different locations on 3 different types of storage. That would be an IT solution. Well, media people who are doing jobs, don't want to do this. So we're farming it off to other people. But we could automate it. So redundancy, and the biggest driver for this is because the fact that that camera over there is shooting to a compact flash drive or an SSD drive. This is volatile data. If I bring it into my laptop, I will transfer it to a drive, or I will transfer it to my SAC. Then I will take that compact flash card back to the camera, reformat it and go again. I still only have 1 copy at this stage. Yes? Now that isn't good, because if the SAN breaks or the hard drives go, we've lost the data. So we build redundancy into storage, but even now, people are realizing I've got clients in Mexico. We have 7 petabytes of data spinning all the time. And we also have a big quantum store managed spectrologic like this one here. We don't use it purely for archive. They have, surrounding the studio, they have 20 sound stages. We have 5 cameras on each, and they shoot telenovelas. These are like soap operas. And we record directly to the sound. So there's no tapes, we're going straight to the sound. Now that makes them very vulnerable. So the first thing we do is we move it to LTO. As soon as it's on the sound, we tag it, we give it a few attributes, we name the files correctly, and then we store it on LTO. So we have a backup. So what did they do after that? They realized pretty quickly that they shoot multi-episodes all at the same time. So they may shoot scenes from episode 1 on the same sound stage as episode 17 and the same time as episode 20. So all these files come in. So we will tag them episodically. Then we move them to LTO. Now it struck us after a bit that having it all spinning here was wrong because we don't need episode 17 because we edit episode 1 first. So why don't we delete it? So because we have it over here on LTO, right? If we delete it, we have more room. So what we then started to do was just have storage that just captured files, we tagged them, and then moved them to LTO, and we deleted that. And then we pulled back from the LTO, episode 1. Had everything backed up. When we'd done episode 1, we threw it away. Pulled back episode 2. Then we realized we had a weekly cycle. So we could do what we call cron jobs. We could decide on Sunday night, because the dirty secret of archive and retrieval is it takes time, we could schedule jobs for a restore. We finish episode 1 on Friday. Okay, we need everything back for episode 2 from the LTO for Monday morning. So we schedule it. Because our memory thought, oh, well, we can schedule episode 3, we can schedule episode 4, we can schedule episode 5. So having done that, we go, oh, we can be even cleverer. Let's have a look at sport. Wimbledon always comes at the same time every year in England. June. But we know if we're going to do Wimbledon this year, we're going to need the stuff from last year. And usually the stuff from the year before that, and maybe some archive. So now we're thinking, okay, why can't we schedule that several months in advance to bring it on our fast storage? Because it takes time to come back. The more they request, the longer it takes. So in this way, we're starting to use our long-term, our deep archive much more intelligently. We're monetizing it. But who decides what to bring back? Well, it gets complicated again, because your producers